Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting a series of videos on questions that people may ask before taking their first ride with Uber or Lyft. Today we are going to talk about where to sit when you take a ride. If this is your first time here, my name is Lori and I'm an Uber and Lyft driver in Lincoln, Nebraska. I share videos about my experiences as a female rideshare driver, and I'm going to be sharing all sorts of tips and answering questions that you may have. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see today. The first thing I must tell you is it all depends on the driver. There are drivers that prefer one or the other, but I will share with you what my preferences are and what I have heard from other drivers that I know. Uber and Lyft both require that drivers have enough room for at least 4 passengers in their vehicles. So, with most vehicles seating 5 people, that right there tells you that you are allowed to sit in the front seat of a vehicle. If there are 4 riders, it makes sense that obviously one will be in the front seat. Now, if there's only one rider or 2 or 3 people, then it all depends on the situations which I will be sharing with you today. The first thing is you need to ask yourself this question. Do you want to chat? Do you want to talk with your driver? Now, if you want to talk to your driver, and if you feel like they might be someone that's interested in speaking with you, then by all means sit in the front seat. For me personally, I like it when somebody sits in the front seat because that tells me they are friendly and they want to talk to me. Now, if they are sitting in the back seat, I do try to have a conversation with them, but it gets a little bit difficult, especially if they're sitting right behind me. If you're sitting right behind the driver, that tells me that you're not really interested in a conversation. You just want a quiet ride to wherever it is you're going, which is fine. But if you are wanting to have a conversation with your driver, I would say either sit in the front seat, or if you're going to sit in the back seat, then choose the one where they can see you better. Whether you decide to sit in the front seat or the back seat, it all sets a tone for the ride. When I pick somebody up and they sit in the front seat, like I just said, I know that they are friendly and they want to chat a little bit. Now, if they sit in the back seat, then I have to figure out what kind of person they are and if they're interested in talking at all. Now, the next question you must ask is, did the driver pull up to you? And if they did, which door was closest to you when they pulled up? Now, if I pull up to a passenger that's waiting on the sidewalk or at the edge of the street corner, what I will usually do is pull my car up so that they are directly in front of my front door. That tells them that it's okay to get in the front seat. Some people prefer the back. That's fine. And they will go to the back seat. And that way they will know that I will be open to them sitting in my front seat. The best way to know which seat to sit in is ask your driver. Just simply open the door and say, would you like me to sit in the front or the back seat? And then nobody's offended, and then you know which your driver prefers, and then that way there's no awkwardness of not knowing. And if you're not comfortable opening the door to ask them, then just go through the window and say front seat or back seat. Point at the doors or whatever. Just somehow indicate to them that you would like to know which they would prefer. And if you don't want to sit in the front seat, then just get in the back seat, no questions. You know, that's simple and easy. But, you know, there are some of us drivers out there that actually do enjoy a conversation with people, and it's okay. So just ask. That's what it pretty much boils down to. Now, as far as other drivers go, I'm just going to be pretty much blunt. There are some people that are driving for Uber and Lyft that really, I don't feel like they have the right mindset. They don't want to talk to people. They don't want to have a fun conversation. They are just out there to make the money, quite simply. And I know that that goes with anything. There's always going to be a bad experience, whatever job you're looking at or whatever place of business you're looking at. And it's going to be with Uber and Lyft drivers as well. So just keep that in mind. But there are a lot of us out here that actually will let you sit in the front seat and actually like it that way. And I am one of those. Another thing to keep in mind is I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we don't have a high rate of crime here compared to like New York City or Chicago or, you know, LA. And those cities, from my understanding, it's a pretty scary thing to take an Uber. You don't know who's driving, and it's scary for the drivers as well. And so just if you live in one of those bigger cities, it might be a good idea just to sit in the back seat. It might just be safer that way. So just, you know, take a look at what your environment is, what your city is like, things like that. Take a look at what the driver looks like. Do they look friendly enough that they would want to have a conversation with you and have you in the front seat? Or do they look like someone that might be scared or nervous about you sitting up there with them? And another thing I will say is when someone sits in the front seat and they don't feel like conversing, it just feels kind of awkward to me. I mean, when you sit in the front seat, you're pretty much saying, I want a conversation. So, you know, if you go someplace with a friend, you're not gonna just sit in their front seat and not talk. And I realize we're not friends because you're in my car, but it does set a tone for expectations. So I just want to get that out there. I hope this helped you in some way to get to know a little bit more about Uber and Lyft. And if you are interested in trying out your first ride, go ahead and check out my website below. And I hope you come back next week where I'll be answering another question that first-time riders will ask. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you'll get notified each time I make a new video. And I'll see you next week. Be safe out there, guys.